Hi YouTube. I want to talk about a sensitive subject today. It's a little sensitive to some people, but what I want to talk about is addiction. What does addiction look like? Because most of us have this idea that addiction looks something like this, right? That's what we think of when we think of an addict. But, more and more these days, people know someone or have someone in their family that is struggling with a substance abuse disorder. And it doesn't matter what the substance is. It could be alcohol, it could be heroin, it could be crack. Like it doesn't matter. It's all the same process. So that's what I want to talk about. And why do I want to talk about that? It's not a PSA. It's not because this is some educational teaching moment from Tonya. I want to talk about that because I'm an addict. And there's a possibility, maybe I'm wrong, but there's a possibility that maybe you didn't think that addiction looked like this, or like this, right? But the truth is, I struggled with addiction. I've been clean for almost 4 years now, but it's been a difficult process. If you've watched some of my videos, then you know that I survived a motorcycle accident. I went through that process as a recovering addict. And even though increasingly more and more in the United States with our heroin epidemic and with just addiction getting out of control, more people these days know someone directly who struggles from addiction or who has struggled with addiction, there's still a stigma, which is why I want to talk about that. There's still definitely a stigma in the medical community. There's a stigma in general society. At the presidential debate, Donald Trump was famously taking some shots at Joe Biden's son for struggling with cocaine addiction. So there's still this feeling that it's something that we should be ashamed of, right? There's something that's wrong with you. And don't get me wrong, I'm not proud of the things that I did in active addiction. I caused a lot of damage. I caused a lot of damage to myself and to other people. I lost my job, my residency position, and I really caused some havoc that I'm still cleaning up right now. I'm still dealing with some of the ramifications from the choices that I made back then. But I want to talk about it because we don't talk about it. At the time I got into my motorcycle accident, I was about a year clean, a little bit over a year clean. So I told them when I got into the emergency room that, hey, I'm on Vivitrol and I'm in recovery. And they treated me great down in the emergency room. When I got up to the SICU, the surgical ICU, they didn't know what to do over the weekend. I was admitted on a Friday night. And from Friday till about Monday morning, the pain team, because they consulted the pain service, because managing pain in a former opiate addict can be medically complex, and they decided to not give me any narcotics at all. So for 2.5 days, they gave me only gabapentin and Tylenol. Mind you, I talked about the extent of my fractures. I hadn't had all of my surgeries yet, right? So I needed, I was still scheduled to have more open reductions and fixations. And the nurses had to turn me every 2 hours per nursing protocol, right? And so every 2 hours, maybe every 4 hours. So they would come to turn me and I would be in excruciating pain. It was so bad that my friends and family members had to leave the room because they couldn't bear to hear me scream. When the official pain team came on Monday, not the weekend coverage, when the pain team came on Monday, they apologized to me. They apologized to me for the way that I was treated. So there's still definitely a stigma, right? And I guess that's why I wanted to talk about this. But I know that there are a lot of misconceptions. I also had an experience with the orthopedics team. I was in the hospital for a while and I was getting my blood drawn almost daily. And so there's this thing that we do sometimes when people are in the hospital for a long time, we put something in them called a PICC line, which is like a long-term IV, basically. And so you don't have to keep so you don't have to keep replacing somebody's IV. And I remember asking the team, why don't you guys put a PICC line in me? And the orthopedics team wouldn't do it because they thought that I was an IV drug user, and they thought that I was going to use the line to inject, I guess, heroin into my body. Mind you, I had 2 broken legs. I couldn't even get on a bedpan on my own, let alone sneak off to the bathroom and to put some heroin in my line. But that was the belief. That was some of the stigma that that really impacted my medical care. Like, we're not just talking about people just passively thinking that I was a dirtbag. I mean, this stuff really impacted the quality of healthcare that I received. These misconceptions about addiction. And so that's why I wanted to make this video, to say that I'm a physician that is in recovery. Okay? I used to be in active addiction, and now I'm in recovery, meaning I don't use, and I do the things that I have to do to take care of my addiction. And there are lawyers and judges and actors and musicians and painters and electricians and moms and kids and dads in recovery all over the country. And we don't all look the way that you think we look, and we don't all act the way that you think we act. And many of us are recovering and living our best lives now. And I definitely am living my best life today. And so I'm not ashamed to say, my name is Tonya, and I'm an addict. Thanks for watching, YouTube. For more of my videos, feel free to subscribe. Thanks, guys.